but I see you.
Yes, indeed. Sound check. Brother Neil, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, loud and clear.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Welcome back once again to another episode of Metamorphosis, aka Brother Neil Frazier. The light within never dies. Divine Mother Energy of Maya Angelou. And we can never celebrate her enough because she's the epitome of that mother energy.
Yes.
And she reflects so much godly energy to us and nurturing. And like we were saying earlier, brother, and I'll just repeat what I said, we don't have as much of this. And welcome, Sister Queen Diane. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Queen Diane.
Yes. And she has that divine mother energy too, I have to say.
Yeah,
you know?
I thought of her too. Yeah.
Yes, we don't have enough of that energy in our world today, and especially in our Black world. We had so much of it that maybe at a time when it was starting to diminish because of the attacks on our psyche, and the attacks on what we respected and what we revered. We took that abundance for granted, and now that we have less of it, it's still there.
Yeah.
But we're so in need of it. I remember the Black world when I was younger, from single-digit ages, and it felt so different. And it's because of that energy that Sister Maya Angelou, and I'll say has, because it's almost like a relay race. You have the baton in your hand, and you're running. When you run your part of the race, you pass that baton on to the next person who's on your team.
Right.
And it continues on. We don't see you anymore, but you brought it up to that point.
Good analogy.
So with Sister Maya Angelou, the baton that she had in her hand, that she passed on to some notable people, as far as the energy is concerned, to be broadcast all over our world, less and less as the decades went by, there was nobody to pass it on to. Like you said earlier, the BBLs, the body shaping, the eyelashes.
Yeah. They did a
thought behavior. How do you pass that on?
Yeah, that's an interesting point you brought up. And again, I want to greet you, brother, all the family out there, Queen Diane, the rest of you guys out there. Always good to be with you. And boy, as I reflect on Maya Angelou, it's just one of the things, going back to what you said about that, that's a good analogy. It's almost like we dropped the ball. And the same thing with the men. Because when I was coming up, my brother and his generation, they attended to us. They, why you ain't in school? Well, why you ain't in practice? Or why you here on the corner? Or, just whatever. They engaged us. I can't really speak for the females, just from what I observed. But it's also like our attention was refocused, like the BBLs, the eyelashes. So the feminine energy switched to adapt naturally to our energy. But then I always look at the frustration with a lot of Black men, why they go to other countries looking for women. Because deep down inside, many of us were raised with the type of mothers that we're talking about today, with Maya Angelou and that divine mother energy. So there was a code switch with our females, and that baton wasn't passed on. I'm not sure when that happened. I'm trying to think back. I know one of the things that really affected me was when the crack era hit, and you started seeing these women pushing babies around 2:00 in the morning with these those strollers that come from the grocery stores before they start putting boundaries on it. And I was like, okay, something going on here. But yeah, I mean, so today, I can't find enough words. You took the time and wrote a good description of her. Some of the things about her is very fascinating.
Yeah.
And again, I want to really go into the Divine Mother energy and how that has affected our community more than any other community, because again, we are connected to the soul of this energy. I mean, through our souls to this energy.
Yeah.
And even when you are unaware of it, it still has an effect. Just like a judge told me one time, said, ignorance of the law does not excuse you from the penalty of the law. And so why would you think that because you're ignorant of the Divine Mother energy that we all should be seeking to have, then that doesn't mean that you're not going to suffer the consequences. So when you look at America and you look at what initially happened, before I bring up the first visual, Lance, what initially happened was white women started revolting against white men because they had their foot on their neck. But what happened, our sisters started hooking up with this energy, right? And then it took them in a different direction. But the government had already separated Black families. We know that they created the ghetto. But at the same time,
yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, they was working some other magic too, because they were working white magic, because the white women who were now finally revolting against white men, they dragged our sisters into this. And so that energy was transferred. Well, now, because they beefing with white men now, and now they see, you know, the plot that they're in. Then the sisters, you know, they got that same energy. But what I think really happened is that, like we were talking earlier, is we still look to other people to talk about the things that are important, like Maya Angelou and what her whole energy brought to us as a people. She was an amazing woman. There are some things about her that we're going to talk about today. Brother, did you want to say anything else before we hit the visuals real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when I made the banner, it was a simple banner. And I had the choice of, I pulled up so many different faces of her. Let me see if I can get back to that.
She was a beautiful woman when she was younger, tall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to choose a photo of her that I felt best represented her across the board.
That's a good one.
I didn't choose one extremely old, but it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
Young, and that wouldn't have been a problem. But I wanted to choose a photo that if you knew her as an older woman, you would still recognize her. And if you knew her younger, you would recognize her.
Yes.
And just, you know that she was coming with something when you saw that expression on her face.
Right, right.
And she was coming with something. She had the answer for something. You asked her a question, she was going to answer it in a very poetic way. Yes. But the thing that I want to say to pay homage to my background is that she was a type of woman that I grew up around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say it this way. I always say it, but you know, my mother graduated from Juilliard School of Music and sung opera and sung all different types of music. And during her rehearsals, that she would get around different musicians, different spoken word artists, people who were really, I mean, back then there was so much of a wealth of talent. But aside from that, the dignity in the Black people that I saw, the courtesy, the love, the togetherness, and that mothering energy that she had / has, is what I'm used to. So when I had the
Right.
photo, I said, that's the photo I'm going to use. And I
Yeah.
didn't say the whole name because she's a person that when you see Maya or say Maya, it's only one Maya.
Right.
And
And
for a
that's how it
second,
is when you have famous people or famous athletes as well. You know them by one name.
right, exactly. So as I started to put the words and resize things and mess with the contrast and looking at her face, I just started with a few tears rolling down my eyes
Okay.
because her energy,
Yeah.
it's her, but it's all the people that I knew like her.
Mm-hmm.
People like that the world would never hear of. Of course, my mother, but
Mm-hmm.
people like Evelyn Gumby,
Yeah.
people like Martha Wilkinson, people like
Yes.
Marion and Archie Harris. These are names that I know that weren't super famous. Robert Kellum. Now he's a man, right? But he
Uh-huh.
was around that energy. I was a little boy playing with toys, hearing the dignified conversations of these individuals. And I still walk with them and I
Yeah.
represent them, right?
Well, it shows in how your ability to articulate and think outside the box, and attract the right energy. It shows your upbringing has a lot to do with your personality structure. I don't care how much you want to
Yeah.
deny that. Not you, but anybody.
So
It
I know
really
what you mean.
does. And when you have access to the type of people that you had in New York and your mother and father, and growing up in that historic neighborhood, it has an effect on you. And when that leaves, and a lot of us guys who are over 50, we still yearn for that
Yeah.
because it's like a piece of you that's missing. Now, but
Yes.
on the flip side of that, we're sending two different signals. We're saying to the women, we don't want wise looking women like this. We don't want them. Let's be real. We still have plenty of sisters like her,
Yeah.
but they're not reward. The white males are the ones they gravitate towards because they feel like, okay, I can match their energy. Because at the end of the day, we're not here to talk about the brothers today, but we're here to celebrate a great sister. And
Yeah.
I want to start out with her picture, "The Light Within." And I'm not gonna, since Lance did
No.
a great job on breaking down the description. If any of you guys want to go back and look at, her life story in terms of her
I'll
movements.
drop the link
Okay,
in the
that'd be good.
room to that particular uh, biography and her work and all of that stuff. I have it on the site. So
Okay,
I'm going to drop it right now just as a raw link. But continue
okay,
on, brother.
okay. So this particular, I remember the first time that I encountered this particular affirmation that you did. The light within you never dies. And then she was talking about that soul connection that light represents, and that it can never be dimmed, no matter what you do. Now, it can be hidden to a certain degree if you put something around it, but it can never be extinguished. And I thought that was so profound because this type of wisdom, knowledge is one thing, but wisdom comes from a place where it can't be external. Okay, and you go back to the old argument of the nature nurture controversy, things like that, which our environment does affect us, but at the end of the day, it's what you decide to do with the light within you that matters. And so today we're just gonna, like I said, she's a fascinating woman. And what I'll do is I'll just go through all of the visuals real quick. But the last thing about this was she was saying that if this if you allow this light to be controlled by someone outside of your light, then that person or that energy or wherever you give it or whatever you give it to has effectively stolen or taken your soul. That's why when you hear a lot of these people saying they sold their soul or whatever, you know, a lot of it's has to do with what you use your light to follow. And then as you follow that light within, then that's what you express to the world. Okay, brother, I'll go to the next whichever one comes up. Uh as we were talking about how this divine mother energy, yeah, okay, great. This picture, and I flipped through a few of them, but this kind of captures the essence of who a Black woman really is, this divine mother energy we're talking about. Because you're talking about a cosmic influence on the planet to the woman or the energy that connects with the universe the most. And that is without a doubt the divine mother spirit or energy that lives in our sisters. And this picture shows how you can have the whole world if you're willing to express yourself. If you're willing to take what was given to you, okay, and this is in contrast to how we've been taught about somebody being on a mountaintop. This is what is being offered to you, that whole world, okay. If you are willing to give what's inside of you, the light that she was talking about, if you're willing to give that to the world, then you, in effect, will have the whole world. And finally, with the last picture I want to show, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this, about the Maya law. Yeah, thank you, brother. The thing about the Maya law or laws, the 42 laws of Maya, is this is the first known, or I should say, the first one that was actually put out in the world, okay? Because these laws, and when you go back and you look at someone like Moses or Musa, it would be impossible for him to have grown up in the Pharaoh's court and not know the 42 laws of Maya. That would be like you and me going 12 years in public school and never reading the U.S. Constitution or singing the national anthem. But this particular, these affirmations perfectly show the spirit and the wisdom of Maya Angelou. And the seven principles that I want to just say about the laws of Maya and why this divine mother energy is so important and why it has been dissolved and actually they tried to eliminate it because it stands for truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, and propriety. And I say that because the other thing too is these laws are 1,800 years older than the Bible or the Ten Commandments. Okay, so you got to face the reality that things were taken from you and then narrated and put back out in the world. We're talking almost 2,000 years this existed amongst our people, and they were moral and ethical laws that mainly lived inside our women. Okay, because you have to have that electromagnetic balance. Can't have one without the other. And this was a concept when you go back into antiquity that you saw with all of our civilizations. Even here, when you go back and you look at the Washita, okay, they have the same principles, the Gullah Geechee people. They had the same principles, but they were universal or cosmic principles that no matter where you exist, just like with the quantum theory in terms of the superposition. If I have a particle here that's right, no matter where that other particle attached to it, the law of polarity, that's going to automatically be left. And so you have to look at the warfare that we fight against these principalities. This is what they fight against with you. They know that you don't have the ways in which they fight us and oppress us to do that to them, just by sheer numbers. But they know you have something inside of you that's greater. So what do? And I always go back to what Dr. Amos Wilson told us. In order for 6 to 7% of the world population to control the other 93, 94%, then by necessity, at least 40% of those that are oppressed or colonized have to participate actively in that system. It cannot be done without it. So, yeah, thank you, brother.
Okay.
And so when we look at what's inside our people, and I know it's hard because if you're in a Shark Tank, you ain't be trying to read no scriptures. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna try to survive. You might put the Bible in their mouth for them to eat it so they won't eat you. But I guarantee you're not gonna be up there trying to quote no scriptures to no sharks. Okay, if you're in that tank. So I get it. The issue we have to look at is we have to now recapture balance and order and harmony. We're not going to survive if we walk away from it. Well, we already walked away from nature, but if we don't reclaim, that's where it begins. Okay, so we're in a fight because this divine mother energy, we have to now, even if we have to skip that next person in line that you hand that baton to and go, and somehow if you have to throw it to the one way ahead, we now have to start focusing on this energy with our younger sisters because they're in a real confused situation right now.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of our young girls don't have the type of image that Maya Angelou presented. So she was an American poet, social justice advocate, and a civil rights activist. And this was a tough lady. You see the soft side of her. I'll just say something about her real quick. When she was 3 and her older brother was 4, her parents put her on a train from California to go to stay with, I think she was born in St. Louis, but they were sent to live with her grandmother in Arkansas, I think Stans, Arkansas. And at that time, she was molested by a friend of the family. I think she was like 4 years old when this happened, 5 years old when it happened.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, she was mute for like 5 years. She was literally mute.
Brother, let me just, if I can interject, I just took a walk down memory lane, and every now and then I try to Google the Hall Johnson Choir. It's a very famous choir from way back over many decades. You can Google it. And the funny part about it is I just Googled it, and I found a shady picture from way back. And this is on, I'm gonna drop this in, this is from Afro Voices.
Okay.
And this was, they say, circa 1950s. And that's when my mother was in the Hall Johnson Choir and traveled the world.
Oh.
And she met Maya Angelou at one point.
Wow.
But if you look on the far left of this photo,
okay,
standing there, that's my mother.
Wow. Amazing.
And she knew many people who went on to become celebrities. The guy, what's his name, Marshall, who played Blackula in
Oh
Virginia
yeah.
Capers, who was on many sitcoms and movies and
Yeah.
stuff. And there's a lot of people in this picture whose names I forget, but we had pictures of her all
William
over the
Marshall.
world.
Yeah.
And that's her in the far left in the front row. I just
Wow.
wanted to say that since we spoke about that.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's a great history piece there. And like we were saying, these were the type of women that influenced us
Yeah.
and men. And you know, that's something that they really try to erase. Like when some of our women, not some, all of our women who actually still hold on to this type of dignity and wisdom,
Yeah.
they try to make them seem like, you know, what's the word they use? Low IQ. And the reason they do that is because they know they have a type of wisdom that they don't have. So knowledge
Exactly.
is not greater than wisdom.
That's right.
But they'll make you think that because you don't have the knowledge that they have hidden, and now that our people are starting to get this knowledge, and apparently a lot of white people are getting it now too. But you'd have to be living up under a rock not to know certain things. So that could have been by choice too. But yeah, man, your mother actually was with the Johnson Choir.
Hall Johnson. She traveled the world with
Oh,
them.
Johnson, yeah. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And this
You
goes
must have
back
had a good
because
voice, huh?
it's over. So, oh yeah, you had to have that to
Yeah, you
be
had
part
to
of
have,
that.
yeah.
And that's what I grew up around. And like I said, affected me when I mean, it always has, but when I saw the picture and I was working on it and I'm looking at her face and I started crying a little bit
Yeah,
because I missed that energy. Like we
absolutely.
don't have it as much in the present day for the children. A lot
Yeah.
of the mothers today, I'm not saying all mothers, a lot of mothers are trying their best,
They
but
are.
they're missing something. And we're bombarded with this so-called entertainment, which is programming. And look, to us, it may seem as though it went by fast.
Yeah.
But if you go back to 1990, 1989, around then when they had that meeting and hijacked hip hop and just entertainment
Oh,
in
yeah.
general, and how we have social media bombarding our brains, how long, let's just say 1990. Do we realize that that was 36 years ago? But because we can tap a button on a YouTube video and see Michael Jackson when he first moonwalked on that TV show and everybody was talking about it the next day, we
Right.
feel like we're back in that time, and it has warped our perception of time. So we don't really realize where we are. I'm not saying you or me or anybody here, but imagine those who were brought up in it, who that's all they know. And all
Yeah.
they know is what's the filth that's fed that's really tasty. It's not nutritious, but the sensationalism, the sex, the sexuality. I mean, to be 14 years old, 13 years old, and you can see all of these things as a young boy, a young girl, that does something to you. Yeah, we had a little magazine that we hid away and we saw something and we all gathered around, but it wasn't the commercials and the shows and the entertainers. You didn't have to have your breasts and your backside out when you sung.
Right.
The music was different, a different vibration.
Mm-hmm.
When you slow dance with a woman, it wasn't about rubbing up on her for friction. It was the beauty and the warmth and the romance. And we don't have that anymore. Some do, but that's not what's fed to us en masse.
And
And it
those,
perpetuates. We grabbed it now and we're running with it. And the slave master, them people there, they don't have to do anything more because we're perpetual motion with this thing that's destroying us. And we don't protect the mother energy anymore because many of us don't know what it is. And many of the mothers who should be emitting this mother energy, they want to compete with their daughters for the same boyfriend that's 20 and 30 years younger than them.
That's crazy.
They don't embrace who they are. See me? I know my chronological position, and I know how I have to carry myself. I'm the same person, but I see how people look up to me in a different way, not because I'm so great, but because of what I went through, and I can offer perspective just like you can, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So the responsibility is on us. The
Yeah.
baton has been passed from before, and we're looking to see who we can pass it on through our work to influence them to wake up. I know my role. I'm not going to be here forever. And it doesn't mean we have to have our name up in lights, because back up in Harlem, back up in Washington Heights, New York City, all of the people that I saw, they tipped their hat with respect to the people who carried themselves a certain way. And everybody had that responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have people for ego reasons who want to be on the podium, ego. They want to hear themselves talk, and they get mad at the next person who can talk better. And now we want likes and follows and all of this stuff. To hell with that. What about affecting people in a way that would go beyond your lifetime? When you talk to a young boy, as you are, Brother Neil, with your history and your expertise, to know that what the seed that you're putting in this child's mind is going to go beyond your natural life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get spiritual credit for that, where you end up and where I end up from what we planted here. When you plant a seed, you don't always see the tree or the fruit tree that's going to bear fruit for somebody else.
True.
I'm shutting up. I'm feeling it.
Well, nah, man. Yeah, I was getting ready to say it's time to pass the collection plate around, because you went in real good. You went in real good, and it's good to see and hear that passion, man, because you're right, man. It affects us in a way that we're not even aware of. You know, they use this energy, this like energy, this follow energy. They have ratcheted this up where people will literally do anything to get attention. And I mean anything, especially on Facebook, which I don't even look at anymore. Except through
I'm not on it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm on it. My pages are up, but I have no access to it.
Yeah.
I will create a personal page just to connect with some people that would be hard to connect with. Yeah. But I'm done with Facebook. I'm slowly chopping them down.
Yeah, somebody hijacked my original channel too. I know who it was, but it's okay too, one of those vampires. But you have to, the thing they do with Facebook, in order for you to use Messenger, you still have to have an open and active page, right?
That's why I lost connection with the people. Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
But yeah, brother.
But go ahead and continue, brother.
Okay, yeah, no. And thanks for sharing that, because this is the type of energy that we need. We can recreate. Even Maya Angelou, and we're gonna go through like 9 of her affirmations. But even she said, you know, this is how you re-event yourself or re-event a situation. It doesn't mean that the Black community have to accept what's going on. I don't care what you erase. You could never erase Black history. You can try to erase, because American history is Black history. So, I mean, Black history is American history. So, good luck with splicing and dicing that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, this great sister, man, her signature work, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. It's so fascinating, because it became a movie in 1979 in 48 countries, 18 languages, and it sold over 4 million copies, the book. And again, it's her autobiography about when she became muted, and she wrote everything down. But you know, when you think about that, I'm not saying the molestation aspect of it, but the fact that this was so traumatized. And I thought about, this is something that happens more frequently than is discussed in the Black community. And it's something that, you know, we got from the slave master. Mm-hmm. And it's something that still goes on. But in this signature work, I just want to highlight a few things she talked about. And it was basically a metaphor of her life that dealt with the difference between freedom and oppression, and the inequality of Black people and their white counterparts, and how this affects Black children. And I recently looked at that doll experiment again, and I looked at their faces, the kids' faces, when they asked the question, well, which one is the pretty doll? And it's almost like it was a hesitation, but they never would, they looked directly at the white doll. Which one is the ugly doll? They looked directly at the Black doll. So we can't hide from this, okay? This is a reality in our subconscious. Even in our Cesar Borgia is in 99% of Black folks' subconscious. That is a fact. This is not something Neil Frazier is saying. Okay, so let's bring out a few points about this fabulous. The other thing I wanted to say about her too, when she was 16, she became the first Black female, what do they call them? She was a driver on the tour buses here in San Francisco. She broke the color line. Actually, she was the first Black person. She was 16 and she was tall, like 6 feet tall, sort of like Phyllis Hyman. Yeah. And she was very striking, had that dark chocolate skin, beautiful, she just looked beautiful. You could see that fire in her eyes, and she had a natural figure. She didn't have to have cake on her face. Mm-mm. She didn't have to have eyelash. She didn't have to have none of that. And it was funny. Her grandson was saying, well, could you imagine, it's something that they could not imagine. But that's the type of woman she was. She went out there at 16 and she actually got a job. She said they didn't even want to take the application, but she wouldn't let up. So the free bird versus the cage bird. And again, it's a metaphor of her life story. So, and this individual herself transforms from a victim of racism with an inferior complex and becomes a strong, educated woman dedicated to uplifting the mind and spirit of her people. The free bird, I can't use her voice, but I'll just, you guys can, how she talks. Nobody can.
Yeah.
Maybe Jamie Foxx could.
You're right.
That guy's incredible, man. The free bird dares to claim the sky. It catches the wind and it flies in it. And it looks for the trade winds to fly in. And it always thinks of another breeze. However, the cage bird sings of freedom. The cage bird stands on the grave of dreams. The cage bird's tone is heard on distant hills. The cage bird sings with a fearful sound. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied. His shadow shouts on a nightmarish scream. When he opens his throat to sing of things unknown in his cage and cannot see through his bars of rage. That is a powerful, when you think about that particular, what it actually means, and you think about not just Black women, but Black people as a whole, we have to move beyond the point where we're focused on freedom, because you have that naturally. It's what you do with the freedom. Because everybody is limited, even white people are limited. There's a type of limited freedom. The only real freedom you have is the freedom of your own mind and your own spirit. And even that is a challenge, because you got people telling you that if you don't believe in this, then you're not worthy to be a child of the creator creatures, which is absolutely insane.
I know.
Like I said, I worship ants for a reason. They seem to have more sense to me.
Yep.
But yeah, the light within you. So we're going to go through about maybe 9 of her affirmations, brother, and kind of
Sure.
deep dive into it. Yeah, within you, the light within you never dies. This divine mother energy that we're focusing on today. So the first affirmation, she said, act as if you are the best. No one is better than you, and you were born worthy before any resume, any title, or accolades. You were sent here to express your essence, and it is your light. And that's powerful in the sense that when you act as if you're the best, it makes you think about how they do black men when we were talking about the shut up and dribble thing, the gesture, how, okay, you can be confident, but don't be overconfident. Because somehow, even though I call myself a supreme, I'm inferior. Because if I am affected in a negative way, and we know why, to your confidence, and you're acting as if you're the best, then I have to look myself in the mirror and say, well, why am I doing this?
Right.
The other thing that Maya Angelou said, that her brother Bailey, walking on one day, saw a body that was lynched in a tree. And so both of them had traumatic experiences. So they had to end up sending them away real quick back to I believe, St. Louis or California. But when her brother Bailey, who, you know, was her big brother, when he saw that lynched individual, it had a serious effect on him. But yeah, it's black folks, you're supposed to act as if you're the best, because you're not just black folks, anybody. Because
Right.
Maya Angelou's message, even though it was for our people, can be applied to all things. Because again,
It transcended.
it transcends, right? Good, perfect word, actually, Lance. Thank you. Because see, we have to learn to transcend, okay, or go through this cocoon experience and come out as butterflies. Because if you're still fighting caterpillar wars, you're never going to be able to transcend to where you're supposed to be. You can't act as if you're the best when what somebody says on YouTube or TikTok makes you act like a 2-year-old. Okay, you can't be emotional. Now I'm saying, yeah, if somebody is saying something against our community, yeah, you have a right to clap back. But every day for our energy to be focused on this, come on, man, we
Right.
are wasting time.
Right. Exactly.
We are wasting.
Exactly.
I know, Lance, this is something you're big on, which is absolutely true. Every day you have to bring it. It's like a boxer going in the ring. I don't care who you're fighting, you have to know that you have a chance to win this fight.
That's
And
right.
if you don't, then you're getting in the wrong ring.
That's right.
And you might get your behind whipped, but fighters are funny. They have a respect for even the guys they knock out, or they know, because all of them know that on any given Sunday, the tables can be turned. One
That's
punch
right.
can
That's
change,
right.
right, Lance? Could change a fight.
That's right.
So it's the same thing in terms of our divine mother energy has been usurped, because these people keep throwing these punches, and while we're reacting and counter punching, we can't focus on our game plan. That's why in sports, whoever controls the motivation and the energy, and you're always trying to take that back, okay, the momentum. Okay,
Yes.
who has the momentum? Because that's so, and in life, that's important too. Now that we have the momentum, it's what we do with this, you see. But another part of this playbook by Caterpillar people is that they know that if they can keep you focused on that, that's the only way they can hold you down with these petty things that are going on. So yeah, this was a powerful expression of essence. That before you even had a resume, a title, or any accolades or Grammys, or even, by the way, she won 3 Grammys, I believe it was. So even the people there recognized her. Also, she spoke at Bill Clinton's inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, when you hear people that really knew her talk about her, it was always this mother energy that they spoke about. She had a major impact on Oprah Winfrey. I remember Cicely Tyson was talking about the first time she met Maya Angelou.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, okay, I got to stay out this sister's way. She had a certain pizzazz about her, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, a lot of people may or may not know, she was a fixture with Martin Luther King and Malcolm. She actually was an editor in Ghana. I think
She lived here for many years.
Yeah, she was there for many years. Whereas she was in another country in Africa as well. Was it Nigeria?
No, let me check. I'll
Okay.
check.
But she fundraised for Martin Luther King before he went to certain cities. Because a lot of people don't know this. See, they keep our women out of real history too.
You're right.
But she was Martin Luther King contacted her and saying, Maya, I need you to go to black churches and ask for, because he was getting ready to lead the Poor People's March, I think it was, in Memphis. He said, I need you to go to these black churches because black pastors like pretty women and ask them for a collection for just one Sunday to help our cause. She was going to come back to the States to work with Malcolm. And the day before she was leaving Africa to come back, Malcolm was assassinated. Yeah. So she was more than someone that, was a trailblazer for women. But she was also somebody that was on the front line. And they said that, she stood up against the system several times. Mm-hmm. Like she was not just a woman who, quoted poems.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
She had that fire.
She had that real fire. Okay, the second one. Now, this one I like personally too. Nobody thinks about you. When you understand that no one cares about you, everything becomes simpler. Stop waiting for people to acknowledge you in order to press ahead in life. Attention seeking and validation from others destroys your focus on your purpose. People are too consumed with their own lives, and the moment you lose the need to be seen is the moment you see yourself. When you stop waiting on a savior, then you become your own. Now that is powerful.
Wow.
And she went on to say that it's not that people don't care about you or don't think about you. It's that they are so consumed with what's going on in their own lives. And while you're seeking their attention, or you may get upset because they haven't contacted you in a couple of months or whatever, this is energy that can be redirected somewhere else, because it doesn't mean that they, let's just be real. People don't have time to think about your problems. Okay.
Especially in this world the way it is today.
Yeah, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not willing to, deal with your own problems, then you can't be upset with other people because they're not addressing those problems.
Right.
So I really like this one. She really broke it down a little further, basically. But the key thought was the minute you understand that no one cares about you, everything becomes simpler. Yeah. So the third affirmation, I kind of like to, she went into it a little in detail, but I'll just mention a few things here. How to rise above people who try to bring you down. And that's something that's a reality that we all live, that for some reason, we know the reason, but whenever we begin to rise or soar, then there are going to be people who inevitably, I think you just did a video about this, Lance, right? Something about
Yeah,
envy, about when you
yeah,
rise, people are going to become envious of you. The thing about this too is that it's gotten almost, not almost, it's gotten to a childish level. Okay.
it
It's
has.
gotten to a point where you got grown men and women emotionally battling each other while these people are sitting back laughing at you. And like you said, you know, because of they have created this dynamic. Okay.
Yeah,
They're not going to tell
right.
you how many people are actually exposed to what you're. For all we know, Lance might have 1 million views on all his videos. But why are you focused on that? Or why would they make you?
Even
It's obvious what they do to
right,
curtail anything that it
right.
doesn't is not involving a coon or cooness. They're going
The
to cut you.
videos that I do, even I don't focus on that.
I never
And,
do,
and,
brother.
and my hits are so, in comparison, you would say they're low, but the
Yeah.
responses are out there. You know what I mean? So
Oh
go
yeah.
figure. And
Oh
I just
yeah.
want to say this too. You know, racism, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And the systemic racism is real. But these people that run the entertainment world, we know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They got dual citizenship. They're in the government. They're everywhere and they control everything.
Mm-hmm.
And President Trump is not the president. It's that other guy over there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It benefits them. It hit me the other day. Since they own the media, social media, and influence all of that, whenever we have an incident in the Black community where one of us is shot, one of us is taken down, or somebody says something about us, it's pushed. Now, I'm not saying don't focus on what happened,
Mm-hmm.
but just like a fight, a professional fight, when you get hit in the face, you can't get angry. You just have to keep your composure and continue to fight. Let's not get distracted with everything they put up. And the same very people that want us distracted, they're saying how they're on our side and racism is no good because back with Adolf, who did this to us, we're on your side. No, you're not.
No, that's
Because
impossible.
racism and Caucasians, it's like that little child that the gangster will pick up in a shootout
Oh
to
wow.
not catch a bullet
That was a
while
horrible
they do
scene.
their dirty work. And I'm seeing that more and more. It may
Yeah.
sound a little abstract what I'm saying, but I'm going to do something on that in detail. And I have
Okay.
to reveal to
Okay.
you that I'm not going
Okay.
to put on YouTube that was on YouTube on my old channel, but it'll tell you how deep things have gotten with me before. And it reminded me, and I didn't believe what I was hearing, even though it was me talking. It reminded me. So
Wow.
these things that we talk about, the things that you share to uplift people and to motivate them, there are a lot of people that don't like that because you're not with the program of
Mm-hmm.
tearing our people down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing is good, and we're going to continue, and I always support you and anybody like you, brother.
Mm. I know you do. And I appreciate that in ways you don't even know, brother. Because just your presence and availability and the things that you provide in the face of these, well, really the Luciferians are the ones that we're dealing with. uh, is something that's priceless, like a pearl or diamond. And, we have to continue because, again, when things go out on the electric field or electromagnetic field, a man doesn't have the ability to dictate where it goes. They might fool you and put up some number for you to look at, but
Right.
they can't control when our words are in the wind. Again, because of the way we've been taught, we don't look to the real power first. We look to what men have narrated, okay, who don't have the same ability to read the stars as we do. So when we speak, those words go everywhere in the four winds. When something comes from our light from within, like Maya Angelou was talking about, that fire cannot be distinguished. It's an
That's
eternal
right.
fire. So while you have these people have you focus on pseudo power, because they can manipulate how you perceive things, but the real power is in nature. That's the real power. So again, this affirmation here makes you think about something. When she went on to say, how you rise above people who try to bring you down. When your intentions are twisted and your heart is questioned, become silent. Because the thing, and see, this is one of the issues our people are having that they trick us into. Not so much now, but just because somebody smiles in your face doesn't mean their intentions are good for you. Okay. Because the other thing too, if you ever have someone that questions your heart, I'm not talking about question of behavior. I'm talking about when they question you. And I've only had this to happen to me twice in my life, and I never spoke to these individuals again. And that is because this is something when somebody questions your heart, who you are, your integrity, then this is something that you recognize that is a attack on your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what happens with our people is because we still have this open wound, we attack just like a snake right back,
Right.
a viper. And I get it, man. The things that they do, that the vampires do, that's so asinine, we're gonna need moving forward this divine mother spirit. That's what they used to call it, mother wit, right? We're gonna need this moving forward because I see where they're going.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she said, the other thing too is silence is not emptiness or weakness, but wisdom. And there comes a time when silence says what 1,000 words cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional reactions is what their intentions seek. So the only way a person can really defeat you is if they know what you're thinking by your reactions. But if you're silent, like, all right, cool. I'll deal with that another time or whenever.
That's
Then
right.
you've taken your power back.
Yeah.
But when they take your power, like you loan somebody a tool and then you go to their house a month later, like you always say, Lance, hey, bro, can I get my screwdriver back? What screwdriver? The one I loaned you. It ain't yours. I always love that tool analogy you have. That is so perfect about people, man. And so that's the other thing that we have to be careful with now. Now that everything is exposed and everything is raw, okay, the old saying, misery loves company. And if
Mm-hmm.
that misery that an inferior intellect has, and boy, it was so good sitting in that sun yesterday and walking in it. It was like 70 degrees here, man. And
Wow.
yeah, man, it was, I mean, it was amazing. And I sat in it. I put some of my shea butter on, and I sat in it for a while, man. It felt really good. And what we don't know is you don't need, first of all, we have everything we need. Okay, you just have to know what it is and how to use it. But
Yeah.
again, it goes back to if you're living by somebody else's measures of validation and standards, you're going to have a problem because you're never going to be able to reach it. And then once you finally reach it, it's like when they want you to get, let's say, an expensive vehicle. Because as soon as you miss that first car payment, guess what? They're coming to get it.
That's right.
They're not waiting. Now I heard somebody say they missed one car payment.
Yeah.
So now we can see where this is going, and it ain't just black or brown folks either.
Exactly.
Now that they don't need white people to do their dirty work anymore, it's you're on your own.
Uh-huh.
And it's bad here, brother. It's bad here.
I'm hearing it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, this affirmation here is something that she was sending a message to our people. Be silent. Stop telling these people that don't have your best intentions at heart what your next move is. Okay, stop doing that. Because at the end of the day, if you have to look at the real spirit of America, okay, where you have white male domination that they have coerced into this Nazi spirit, but they know one of their biggest threats is that divine mother wit or mother wisdom that they actually, what do they call them? The mammies when they suck their breasts? That's still in their genetic memory bank. When the mammies had to change their diapers and feed them. Yeah.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, they know in their genetic memory bank that if you, by virtue of your intentions being evil towards us, it's really sealing your own fate. The next one, this was one I really liked. Your past is a lesson. It's not a life sentence. Okay. What's so amazing, and they do this with black men so much. I said do it to brown men a lot too, but we were the ones that they actually experimented this on. Now, on the plantation, if you did one thing wrong, if they saw you picking up a goddamn chicken behind that they said you're trying to steal, they're going to use that to lease you out and make more money off of you. So it's convict leasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they do this with black men. If you, and what, close to 75 to 80% of all black men are in their system, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some kind of way. They're going to go back and use that past. Now, they don't do this with their past. They only do this with us.
Right.
They're going to use that to defame your character.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear about, like I like to think about Paul Mooney when he said, it was like, well, Mr. Nigga, why did you go and shoot up BET? No, he asked the white man, he was like, Mr. White Man, why did you go and shoot up all the people in your house? He said, well, you know this one, don't you, lads? It was like, well, I got 5 personalities and one of them snapped and I don't know, what happened. There was a good movie. What was it called? Primal Fear, I think, that this guy played as Richard Gere was the lawyer. He flim-flam. But he played 2 different personalities. And the one he said that was the real personality that was going to get off was the one that really did kill the priest.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's deep. It's a good movie. It's a good twist to it. But yeah, man. So he said, well, one of it, he said, oh, well, this is something we need to really study. And they poured millions of dollars into studying. And then they said a black man went into BET and shot it up. And they said, Mr. Hager, why did you go into BET and shoot up all those other ends? He said, well, I got 5 personalities and one of them snapped. And I don't know. He said, oh, really, nigga? Okay, well, one of those, you better choose one of those personalities because one of them get ready to go to the depths.
Right. He said, pick one.
Okay, you need to pick one because one of them gonna be held responsible. Okay,
that's right.
And so that's how it is with us, huh? That's how it is with us. Your past is a lesson. It's not.
And all 5 of them are going to go to the same sentencing. So.
It don't matter which one you pick.
You're not going to get away.
Boy, that's crazy, man. But he was so many of those guys, man, just like the jester, they have to get that message out, but they have to get it out that way. Because then the real inferior personalities that can't handle the truth, because they have the power to do it, they're going to make you pay for saying it. The other thing, too, is there comes a time when the mirror no longer shows your reflection, unless you got a towel over it, trying to hide from the voodoo ice dolls. But did they not get the memo? You going to the NOLA with that nonsense? Those folks down there don't play. They use that real flavor that people have on you. Okay, unless you got the right salt or you got a quilt to put over that mirror, you're in trouble. But yeah, the mirror, when the mirror no longer shows your reflection, then but your memories, your regrets, your mistakes, you are not the story that broke you. You are the lesson that rebuilt you. Pain is your teacher, not your punisher. And see, this type of wisdom is so, it's needed so badly now. Of course, men, in our chakras, we are programmed to focus on other things, which we should. But we sorely need the wisdom of our sisters to be focused back on the real thing. And I know they're going to say, well, we need our men to be focused on it, and which is a fair argument. Because, much of the men, I get caught up into it too, just like every other man, but I try not to let my focus be controlled by that.
Right.
In other words, it's very difficult to have certain conversations these days because no one wants to really focus on things that people like Maya Angelou opened up for us. It's very hard to find people that's willing to have a conversation. They said the other thing about her is everything was done over food. She sit down with you, and you'll have like dinner together, and it could go on 5. They said she used to sit with Malcolm for hours, having conversations and discussing things.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other thing too was that sisterhood that she established with Coretta Scott King and Betty Shabazz, they said was so powerful because they knew that their husbands depended on this woman. That they, not in a sexual way, they depended on her wit and her commitment to our cause. And they shared a bond to the day they transitioned. That was very needed, necessary during that time.
Well, the bottom line too, that mother energy, for a black man, we can't be or operate at our maximum unless we
Mm-hmm.
have that.
Yeah,
We can
I believe
appear
that.
to operate and be strong, but if
Yeah,
we had that mother energy, that female energy, that supportive energy, we can go so much farther.
yeah.
And that's why back in those days when we needed it with so much coming against us, we excelled and we were
No question.
stronger. They had to shoot us down.
They had.
Now, without it, we have no direction. We're not grounded, and we'll never be unified unless
Hey,
we
brother, I'm
bring
gonna
that
take
back
a
into
break
play.
real quick, brother, before
Sure,
I
go
come
ahead,
back
brother.
and do. Yeah, come back and do this one. But go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
brother.
Take your
Yeah,
time,
you're
brother.
right. You're saying we'll never be unified.
We can't because it's beyond being a necessary component. I didn't say unnecessary. I mean a necessary component of our
Okay,
existence.
got you.
You see, the earth, the mother, the womb. Once we come out of the womb, that's not it. That's the beginning. And we can't really fully be real men unless we honor the real energy. And we have to understand what was done to the black woman through the mental and these standards that are put out there that are very low. And many of our sisters are reduced and can't give that because they're not in the right place. So we have to understand that and try to even work with them to bring them back. And pointing and, oh, you're this. No. Because even if you're trying to explain to many of our devalued black women, they're going to reject it and they're not going to understand. So we have to have patience to rebuild ourselves, and we can't think or wait for somebody else to rebuild us, especially since they benefit from us being in a downtrodden position. They benefit. And many of us perpetuate those low ideals. So we almost have to be covert with it. Throw a little word here, a little encouragement there, break something down here, and take time. And really, for some of us, it's going to take a lifetime. Because look how long it's been, like I said, let's just say 1990, like I said before, when the whole entertainment world, which is run by those people, was engineered against us. And the few sellouts that wanted fame and fortune, that signed up for that self-destruction on the mental level, degrade our women, go against our own manhood with these rainbows, right? All of this stuff to unravel. And the destruction of the black family was already in effect from the 60s with welfare, then the feminist movement, then the black man's no good. And then some black men gravitating toward what's put out there as a standard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so evident. It was evident to me back then. But I'm surprised and hurt that as smart as we can be and as slick as we can be, even when we're downtrodden, that they can't see that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot of thought that has gone into how they're going to use certain things that exist now as a result of the position we find ourselves in socioeconomically. They are working on ways in which they can actually disconnect any of the strength that we have. And I saw this in a dream about a week ago, that we don't, a lot of the things we don't see because we still, although our people are coming out of this, we still have this trust factor where, we're not looking at what their intentions are. Because remember now, even though a certain class of people, culture of people are suffering now, what we've always suffered, they still have this need to be over you. Okay. So there's enough of them still in the system that can have a serious effect on our future progress. Now, with that said, they can't stop what is rightfully meant for us. And we're going to talk about that right now. Were you finished, brother?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for the break. When I got, when I got in here, I didn't, take a break earlier. And I didn't want to, I want to go through this one because these three right here, these last four, are so very, very critical to the time that we're facing now. Okay. And this next one, she really brought out something that I really thought about. We're going to discuss it though. It's attract, don't chase. Okay. Stop chasing and let what's meant for you come naturally. Now, and I thought about that the way, why do these people always put so much pressure on you? You're not doing this. You're not in the master class. You're not a millionaire. You're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Why? Why is this ratchet up so much? What you gonna do with it when you get it? Because really, to be honest with you, there's something too. Some people don't need to have a certain amount of money because that can destroy you. Look at these lottery winners. You remember this case? I think this guy was a Jamaican dude. He had won something like, man, I think $50 million. But he was kind of illiterate. Real nice guy, man. And somehow this white lady who was a real estate agent got involved with helping him to manage his estate. And she ended up unaliving him, not knowing. So she actively was looking for somebody to take him out now that she had control over all of his account. You remember this?
Yeah, I remember.
And Jamaican dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so real cool, nice guy. He would have given her the money.
Right.
But you see, here again, what Maya Angelou is saying is that all things are not good things for you to be chasing behind. Because once you get it, what's going to happen then? Okay. So her thing is attract and don't chase. Everything that have been running everything you have been running after, love, success, and recognition, was never running from you at all. It was simply waiting for, I got a little bit of a voice here. It was simply waiting for you to slow down so it could catch up with you. I'm going to read that again because this is one of the most powerful things that I've ever heard.
That's right.
She has this gift, man. Did you know that I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings was in 2022 or 2023 was the most banned book in the public school system? Imagine that. See, they know that this energy right here, even with our young sisters and our young girls, once they hear it, it resonates with something in their genetic memory bank.
It activates, yes.
It activates.
And it's very restorative also.
Yes, very.
They don't want you to be who you're made to be and what you are meant to be. You can never vibrate at your highest if you adhere to the enemy's dictates.
Exactly.
As long as you follow behind what they say you should be, they're not going to tell you directly, but they're going to guide you through what they offer you, through what they feed you, you'll never vibrate at your highest. They don't want more Maya Angelou's out here in the world, feeding the world. It's too powerful. One of her is powerful enough. And we have more than that. But what I'm saying is that if they can attack our mothers or women, we're done. Yep. And many of us are degrading them and seeing them in one way, not understanding how divine they are. We're not protecting them. We're letting them go out and do all kinds of things. And when I say letting them, it's not like a dog you're letting out the yard. What I'm saying is that we need to be on point and upstanding. So us and our energy, see, our energies together heal each other. So if you want to correct that sister, then you walk upright. It's like Malcolm X sitting down on the curb talking to a prostitute and treating her as she is meant to be. And she responds to him.
You know what? I remember this scene.
But if you deal with them on the lower level that the world puts them on, yeah, go ahead, brother.
Oh, no, go ahead.
If you deal with that false projection and operate on that level and think that's all they can be because your enemy made your woman that way, we'll never get up out of this mess. That's why the family had to be attacked.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
You know what? I remember this scene in Malcolm X in the movie where Malcolm was walking down the street and you know everything that was going on in Harlem, right? And he was like, what happened to our women? Our women who could have been doctors and nurses and teachers. And, you know, he's showing the picture, I guess, the girl he met when he was, you know, out back in that world and saw what she was doing. And then he said, look at Indian Archie, a guy with a mathematical mind. What would have happened to him? And this is how they destroy, because, see, they know that this particular type of intelligence run through our children. So just like they did us, they identify the ones that have activated, I'm glad you used that word, the ones who have activated this energy.
That's right.
And no, there are some young children, Black children, that's very confident. They know who they are. Unfortunately, all we're doing is putting rap music into them. Okay, that's all we're doing. And now on, what is it? On a lot of these YouTube and TikTok shorts that I see, they got these kids, and some of it is funny, but they got the babies saying all kind of crazy stuff, right? And I ain't gonna lie, some of it is funny. Like the one I sent you when he jumped out of the bed.
Right.
Oh, hell no, you know. It's funny, but then again, it's not funny because if you just let a little crack, and then I saw one where they had Martin Luther King and Malcolm talking out of character. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. See how they're going to use that? And the younger kids will see that, and that's what they think Malcolm and Martin Luther King were.
Exactly.
To reduce them in history.
Yeah. And then they have a smear campaign against, there are no perfect men. Nobody care nothing about what Martin Luther King did in his private life. We know what he did in his public life.
Right.
He changed this nation. Okay. And I mean in a good way. So you want to use, like she was saying earlier, where your past is not a life sentence. Okay. So, you know, you're going to smear, but yeah, that's scary, man. How, when I saw that, I was like, man, this is really bad.
Yeah. You knew what that was all about too, when you saw it.
Yeah.
Other people would take it as a novelty, but no, that's not certain things are sacred that don't need to be touched. But those other people, you think you can talk about their so-called cherished people?
Yeah. I haven't seen one about George Washington or any of them.
Right. Or if they have it, they need to tell the truth about George Washington being a slave owner. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's use it for that. Tell the truth.
Yeah. But when they talk about them, it's like some kind of reverence we're supposed to give
That's
them.
the word I was going to use, a reverence. Yeah.
Yeah, just like somebody
Exactly.
say, well, I'm a Christian nationalist, so that gives you the right to shoot unarmed person because you are a Christian nationalist, and then all of a sudden, this is how they think. This justifies, because you can go in a church and look at Caesar Borgia, a picture, and feel like, oh, okay, well, they don't repent, so I'm not even going to use the word they
Right,
taught our people.
right. That's not in their DNA.
That's not in their DNA. However, you can lie to yourself and say, oh, yeah, I'm a Christian nationalist and I read a scripture, and it's okay if I go out and bash somebody in the head or whatever I do to them or violate them. And then, no, it's not. And so this was very powerful. Attract, don't chase. Now, it doesn't mean for you not to go about every day, focus on the things you're trying to accomplish. That's not what that means. That means you're trying to chase the validation of somebody saying, if you reach this level and you attain this level of fiat or whatever it is, and usually it's something in the material realm, then, we'll put you on TV, you got celebrity status, we'll show how many cars you got, how many homes. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't have nice things. All I'm saying is when somebody creates this as a standard of validation of your light within you, then you are chasing that as opposed to what your real purpose and flame is supposed to be leading you to.
And you're being used to influence others to chase that also.
Exactly.
And not focus on the important things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, see, so what they'll do, that's a very good point. I'll use an example we can look right at. So our young brothers who were bringing forth knowledge like Rakim and those back in the day and KRS-One and all these guys that was bringing forth knowledge, right? They excommunicate them. That they don't want that type of knowledge to come forth to our young people. They want this culture of death, or somebody got 100 skeletons and talking about you trading skulls. Who would want to buy a skull? This is crazy nonsense, man. But this is where when they look at your light, this is what they see. And so it's like we have to dim this light and put it out, because ultimately this light will have power over me if they ever realize the power that they have. This is what they are afraid of. And like you were saying, they are afraid of land scourge, light reaching our young people or the older people as well. A lot of them are just, in our age range, it's like, I'm like, wow, really? I told you the other day, I saw this guy. He looked like a teenager from behind until he turned around. What's up, OG? And I'm looking at him, OG, you look 10 times older than me. And you dress like a teenager. I'm thinking to myself, okay. Now, you dress how you want to dress. I'm just saying.
It shows the mindset.
It shows the mindset.
Yeah.
And this is the mindset that is dominating our people at the time, this inappropriate behavior. And it's going to, it is bringing us down to a point where, and not only that, it's also being held up as the standard to validate.
Standard. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what you should aspire to be. And if that means unaliving several of your other brothers to do that, then I'll reward you if you do that. And yeah. So she goes on to say that let what's meant for you come naturally. Stop chasing. Everything that you have been running after, love, success, and recognition, was never running from you at all. It was simply waiting for you to slow down so it could catch up with you. We live in a world that worships the chase. We are told if we want something, okay, that we need to run, to push, to grasp, with both hands and hold on to it. The truth is, what is meant for you will never need to be chased. It already knows your name. It recognizes your heart. It already knows your spirit. And we chase validation and cannot hear our soul saying, you are already enough. Now, this was a powerful affirmation from her because, it's just like what we've been talking about, where they're focusing our energy. And the fact that this warmongering energy that they're using as well is something that's like a false flag. We don't know what they're doing in these countries. We just know what they tell us.
Right.
Okay, that's at the end of the day. You don't know what there are things going on that if the American people don't stand up, there are other forces that are controlling our country, bro.
Of course.
There are other forces that are, yeah. And what makes it so bad is that the people that were voted into office for the average citizen to feel like, okay, this is somebody we can trust to go up there and speak for us, have turned their backs on the American people. Literally. They have turned their backs on the American people. And there is a consequence to that. A government cannot just turn their back on the people and expect that government to survive. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
And what we see now, man, is literally chaos in the streets.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's hit these last three here. Focus on yourself and stay quiet. And then watch how your life changes. Okay. I know this is something too, Lance, that you also believe in. The thing is if you're not focusing on yourself, you can't bring forth anything to anybody else. That's just like if you are have a big gaping wound in your life, you cannot heal somebody else, or you cannot come together with somebody else,
right,
and try to heal them when you already have this big ass gaping wound in you. And so, yeah,
that's true.
A lot of it has to do too about what she said in one of the earlier affirmations. It comes a time in your life when your reflection in the mirror, you don't even want to look in the mirror no more. It doesn't show you, it shows the regrets, the mistakes, all the things that they tell you to look at that makes you less than. They focus on that. Oh, look how bad the Black community, really? Okay. So a good video to watch, Dr. Amos Wilson, on how white culture creates violence in the Black community. You cannot displace the fact that the dominant culture that controls all of our social institutions, okay, are not responsible for at least 50% of this. Okay. So, but we're responsible for the other 50%. Okay. Or it should actually be 60-40, really. But at the same time, we have to look at, like what she's saying is, we have to look at the fact that we're not focused on the things that we need to be focused on. For instance, yeah, it's great boycotting Target and Walmart and knowing, which we've always known, that our dollar, has a voice, even if we don't have in America or around the world. But now, if you keep your energy focused, that's just like after the baby is born, they cut the umbilical cord. They don't leave. You don't stay attached to your mother.
Right.
You walk around with your mother with your umbilical cord still attached to your mother. No, you cut that. There's a reason for that. So now the next stage is you're in the incubator. So they put the baby in the incubator. See, we have all these lessons in life, but you're still living by I'm blessed and highly favored, and these other narratives that they have taught our people. No, you need to focus on when you got put in that incubator, okay, and now you'll survive, and they take you out of that incubator. Then now what? Okay, now what? Because the truth of the matter is, if Black folks get a lot of money, I advocate if they do decide to do the right thing with reparations, that half of that be in land. Because they can, what is the word I'm looking for? They can, so the fiat, let's say you get $5 million. Well, they can devalue that fiat all the way down to like 100,000 or less. They did, what's his name? Like that.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
The day we get reparations, I give it 3 days before the dollar crashes. And in that time, everybody else is going to get rich, right? The dealerships are going to make money that are not owned by us. Every way of being a consumer. So many of us are going to spend like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then the dollar's going to crash and everything's going to lose its value.
And look what they did to Obama. He didn't have no choice. Like, okay, we're going to crash the market, the housing market. And if you don't pay this amount, it was a gangster bribe by the economic elite in our country.
Right.
And it's too big to fail. And if you don't do something, it's going to show you as a Black president being incompetent. I'm pretty sure that's how they came at Obama. Yeah, it's you. And people they're gonna say, oh, this is what President Obama didn't do. This is the reason why America crashed. But he did what he had to do. And so that should tell us right then is, the point I was trying to make is, and what Maya Angelou is pointing out is, when you stop looking or waiting for a savior, then you become your own. Why are other people building stores in our communities? Why are generations of other cultures getting rich off of our people and now our children? We have to ask ourselves these questions. And now you don't have to have a storefront. But our dollar still only circulates 6 hours. Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad. See, and so these are things that we have control over, but we have to look at designing a whole nother system. Just like I was looking at, before I go into the next one, I was looking at why they're so angry at this brother in Burkina Faso. He's saying, no, we're not going to send our raw materials to you anymore. For you to then benefit off of producing what comes from our raw material, and then charging us 10 times for our own material that you manipulated. And I remember this when Dr. Sebi was on this show with these other so-called doctors, and they walked off the stage because Dr. Sebi knew the names of the plants, where they came from, their effects. Not only did he knew, so they were using all these big names, these doctors from Harvard, and I forgot where they were from. But they didn't know the name of the plant. And Dr. Saber was, well, I'm a real herbologist.
Right.
I am just like Dr. George Washington Carver. I'm true to this. I'm connected to this.
They didn't want to hear that.
They walked off the stage because the narrator, the white dude, he was like flushed. Here you have a man that never went to a college, know more about the natural development of the very plants. So the doctors have to rely on the pharmacists, who some of them may not even know what Dr.
It's
Sabi does.
synthetic. That's right.
Synthetic. And then they create, so it's sort of like that. They create a synthetic system for you. So Traore said, okay, well, guess what? We're going to set up our own system of trade.
Yeah.
And so he called him, the French president, with this asinine tone in his voice. All the African presidents that tried this are in the grave, and you're next. You know what gives them the audacity to think that they control now? But this is how they have been surviving off our people, man, for centuries.
Yeah.
And this is why they're so angry. They'll pay any amount of money to remove him.
Mm-hmm.
And this shows you something. You know, it shows you the real power that you have. But now I give them credit. The Africans there are working together. And that's the only way that you're going to defeat. And they do have allies. The people that they have always told us were bad. Really? The nations that you always told us were communists, sympathizers, and all this other, these terms, socialists and all that. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is it that these are the people that are not quoting scripts, but they are actually doing something to help preserve the resources in African nations? Why is that? Can you explain that? Cesar Borgia, can y'all explain that? Because it's clear what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Next, she said that no longer, she said, you learn that you no longer have to please others to prove or to perform. To be silent means to pour energy back into yourselves, not the silence of fear, but of knowing. And anyone can make noise, but real self-power doesn't need to be shouted or validated. Now I'm going to hit these last two here. This is the one that is connected to what our subject is today. You will never heal until you face this about your mother. There is a place in every grown child where the mother still lives, not as a saint, not as a woman, but as a presence that shaped the very bones of our essence. Now, what she was saying, just like you're proud of your mother and the type of woman she was, Lance, what she's saying is that there are mothers who had failures, just like fathers are. But we hold them in a position where we can't accept that they had pains in their own lives. But we have this need, particularly Black children, have this need to keep our mothers on a pedestal. And so when whether it's fair or unfair, when they don't live up to that, then we kind of crash out, which is a standard that is set for women in our overall society. That is kind of unfair. Okay, that, you know, in the sense that these women, mothers or not, they had the same challenges that all young people grow up and had. Maya Angelou, and back during that time, it was she had her son when she was 16. And she went on, to accomplish. And they said she was a great mother, that she, everywhere she went, her son went with her. But yeah, so, you know, our mothers hold a place in this light in our souls, more so than the fathers. And that's for a reason, because of that divine mother energy. And like the picture we showed of the sister with the world, around her, and offering, if I offer you my light, are you going to use it in the right way? Or because there are two roads in life. Now, you can reverse your road, or you can choose, like when you come to the crossroads, like with the Wizard of Oz, when they came to that crossroads, well, which way are we going to go? Well, let's go this way. Now, it's something interesting that happens in our brains in a not just a psychic way, but also in an electrical way, or how the synapses of the brain work. When you are in the process of making a decision, you have these two liquid rivers that are moving through your brain electronically, right?
Yeah.
But the minute your mind and focus gets on one of those rivers, then the other one began to solidify with it. They did a study that they could show it happening on a computer. It's fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah. So once you make that decision, then that other road, liquid energy, fuses into the one that you decided. And at that point, it becomes a force. That's why our thoughts are energy, create energy. That is true. So yeah, so our mothers hold that special presence. We tend to again keep them on a pedestal because nobody. You can talk about somebody's daddy, but boy, if you say something about somebody's mom, you're in trouble. Remember that scene when Denzel said, "Nigga, don't you never say anything against my mother again." And
That's right.
in the head. And yeah, our moms hold a special place. Well, I'm going to say what I say about today's young women, but at the same time, this energy can be recreated, and again, I give credit. A lot of our sisters, as always, have been under incredible odds. Even they have put us against them. But we still know what the transcendence of our nature and our spirit is capable of achieving. And finally,
Yes.
stop losing yourself now. Okay. You forget yourself while loving everyone else. You celebrate everyone else's victories. I love this right here. While your own joy sits in a corner like an uninvited guest waiting to be acknowledged. And that's so deep right there because we'll even delay our own joy just to get the acknowledgement of other people, like the people that this system have taught us that are important. So you got your own joy sitting in a corner somewhere, like in a timeout, waiting for you to say, hey, oh, that's my joy over there. Come on back. You're so busy chasing after this validation so that,
Yeah.
And I think I've exhausted some thoughts, brother. I think I'll end right there. But
no, I'm vibing. I'm absorbing all of it. And, to continue on that point just for a second, we think less of ourselves.
We do.
We think somebody else's happiness is more important. And we are into this mentality where we self-sacrifice everything good for us, everything nurturing for us, and we'll actually give what's gifted to us to others, the others who really don't care about us. I have no problem with sharing with those who are worthy, but we don't feel right unless we exhaust ourselves by giving just everything away. We feel there's some type of reward for that.
Yeah.
That if we do something for ourselves, it's a crime.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Yeah. I can remember how people used to make you feel about sin. Okay. So in other words, if I do something, then I'm a sinner. But you can do 100 times more things worse than me.
Yeah.
And still go in a facility on Sunday and Wednesday nights. And now you feel that you're elevated over me. The things that today I've taught our people, man, sometimes when you just sit and think about it, it's mind blowing. I don't know how they got away with it. But yeah, so all right, my brother, we'll keep holding on to the belts, man. I got to get out of
Yes.
here. And,
Yes.
to the family, everybody keep moving forward. And
Yes.
like
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
King said, not that we shall overcome. We have already overcome. We just need to let it happen naturally rather than chasing after somebody else's validation.
That's right.
All right,
That's
my
right.
brother.
Thank you
Well,
so
hold
much,
on to the
brother.
belt. Yes, sir. And I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
brother.
brother. Always a pleasure. Always an honor. We were well fed today. Seriously. Help out with this disconnection here. Okay, there we go. Oh God, my head is so big. I didn't even get a chance to shave today. I feel so scruffy. I've been putting in some work on so many different levels, and I'm on a flow, and I enjoy it, and I'm where I'm supposed to be, and it's a joy. But like I said, there's so much for us to do, and there's so many distractions on our minds out in this world. We can't forget to keep ourselves recharged. We have to keep ourselves recharged. We have to keep doing good things for us, for ourselves. Yeah, we know we have to sacrifice. We know things can be a little tough sometimes, but we got to pamper ourselves to keep ourselves strong. Just the example of a mother loving her child, we got to love ourselves the same way our mothers would. No matter what the experience with your natural mother has been, we have to mother ourselves. We have to father ourselves. We have to guide ourselves. We have to know ourselves and be our best friends with ourselves. And we won't be disappointed because, like I said, out of all the people you know, you're going to be the only one who spends every minute of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, and every decade with yourself. You're the only one who's going to spend every second of your life with yourself. So do right by yourself, and it can come natural for others, but also, keep your standards high and do right by yourself. I have a lot that I have to do the next few days in this house. I have about maybe 6 guys upstairs sleeping. They're going to get up early and tackle some work that I'm happy to see done. I'm going to do some things tonight, and I have something I'm going to put up in a little while. And when I wake up, I'm going to get right back on it. There's some things I want to talk about. And I will have that thing that I promised. It's already a videotape that's made. I just have to take it off of a different platform. And I think I'm not going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to keep it on Landscurve X, but I'll drop it in the post area where you can see things that I post. If it's a picture or if it's a link, I'll put it up there for sure. But anyway, I'm going to sign off. I was up from real early this morning, and I'm going to put this show up tonight or a little while before I turn in. And we're going to bust the work out this week. We're going to put a lot of shows up and stuff and stimulate, as we always do. Much love to you all, and I will see you on the next one. Landscurve out. Remember, it's always an honor, and it's always a pleasure.